Hi, welcome to my talk that I'll be giving on the intro to Omniverse Machinima. My name is Dane Johnston. I'm the Director of Content and Connect for Omniverse here at NVIDIA. Before I start, I'd like to remind you that I'm available for chat during the talk. Please just click on the chat button on the bottom right-hand corner of the web browser to submit your questions, and I'll try to answer them. All right. So what's the agenda for today? So first I'm going to talk to you about what is Omniverse and NVIDIA Machinima. I'm going to get an overview of the Machinima concept. I'm going to give us a walkthrough of what we're delivering with Omniverse Machinima, the tools, technology, and workflow. And finally, kind of what lies ahead. Where are we going? What have we learned? What we're going to go next with Machinima. So first, I just want to show you a video of what was shown in the Ampere launch. So this is the first Machinima example. We made this in Omniverse in a very short time, around 2 to 3 weeks. And I'm going to let this play out.
Guys are getting better.
All right. So that was our first video. We when we dabbled our feet into this idea of Machinima. What is Machinima? And I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but we're going to go with it. I gave us two definitions here, just kind of give you some of the wide breadth. It's a method of making animated films using software similar to that designed for making video and computer games. This is effectively an idea around using real-time computer graphics to make cinema. When this idea originally came about, this was someone simply recording their screen. They had their controller, they had their characters. This was popularized every year by such instances as Red vs. Blue, which took the original Halo game and made quite a successful season of different shorts and outtakes. And that's what we're kind of trying to jump into here. The video you just saw showed a few different technologies, which I'll talk about later, which we're hoping will improve this ability to generate real-time cinema through the Omniverse ecosystem. So that is our mission in a nutshell. We would like to democratize the creation of real-time storytelling. This means, in a nutshell, we want to make this available for anybody and everybody. Some of the ways we're going to try to do this is through advanced AI techniques, our amazing rendering, and the Omniverse ecosystem. Specifically for the first release of Machinima, which we'll be releasing shortly, we're doing this through a few key technologies. One is Omniverse Create, which I'll discuss shortly, which is a front-end artist tool to use in the Omniverse ecosystem. Audio to face, which is a method of taking just wave files, right? Just audio and driving facial animation. That's what you saw at the end of the previous video. Wrench has partnered with us for this first release of Machinima to provide live motion capture through simply a camera, which is novel and pretty fantastic. And then finally, the extra tools and extensions we've built, which make up the Machinima application, such as sequencer, camera tool, and some of the other stuff that I'll show you here shortly. Before we dive in too deep on Machinima itself, let's talk about the Omniverse platform if you're not familiar. Hopefully you've watched some other videos on Omniverse before coming to this talk, or you've already seen some of the other GTC sessions on the Omniverse platform. But this is a real-time collaboration engine built upon USD, MDL, and PhysX. USD is probably the most important backbone of this. It gives us a universal scene description for all of these different tools and users to communicate. So we've made this our backend as USD. This is how we define our geometry, our animations, our scenes, etc. When it comes to materials, we're using MDL, which is the NVIDIA material. It's an open standard for material definitions. We've created a variety of tools that both read, ingest, and export MDL. And finally, we're using PhysX for any of the real-world simulations out there. The heart of this Omniverse platform is that big circle in the middle. That is Nucleus. That is where you will be putting your content and allowing your various tools to talk. After you have established your Nucleus collaboration engine, you have Connect. Connect are plugins for various leading DCC tools out there, such as 3ds Max, Maya, Revit, etc. Those allow you to export or import USDs and generate their material mappings. I have a video later on in the presentation going over our UE4 connector, for instance, which is used to generate some of the content for Machinima. The core of this next is Kit. Now, this is where the real magic happens. Kit is our base framework for building applications. This is where we have our RTX renderer, our physics simulation engine, and this is what Machinima is built from. It's built from Kit. I've already talked about simulation with physics, and finally the RTX renderer. You should have seen in that video a pretty nice advanced rendering, real-time volumetric fire, path traced. The RTX renderer is simply fantastic at doing real-time rendering. It's completely ray traced and path traced. It has two modes. One is called RTX real time, and one is called RTX path traced. And they're both very physically accurate and correct and speedy. And all this together gives you your Machinima experience in Omniverse. So with that said, let's actually go into the application itself. I'm going to start with just a simple demonstration of the application, just so you have a visual reference for what we're talking about. So this is the Machinima application when you're going to load it up. In the bottom left-hand corner, we have the sequencer, which you've seen I've just dragged an asset into. The sequencer allows for the sequencing of animation clips and various other things to let you, as you can see, make this guy do some push-ups. The center, you're seeing the RTX real-time rendering. This is actually live path traced, and you can see we're getting to full 64 samples in under a second for this particular scene. You can see here I've sequenced together multiple animation clips. You're able to play it back in real time, scrub. A lot of the things you would kind of expect from the ability to put a sequence together. There's some additional tools that we're adding here as well. I'll show you Wrench and others in the future. So let's do that little feature overview of what I'm going to talk to you about. I'm first going to dive into the live motion capture. Then I'll talk to you about our camera animation tool, sequencer, our reshade integration, NVIDIA Flow, which is our volumetric fire and smoke and all that good stuff. The content and import technologies that we're actually shipping and providing with Machinima to kind of kickstart you and get you really going. And then, of course, we'll dive into what's next. So first I want to talk about Wrench. Wrench is this real-time motion capture engine that we're providing with the Machinima launch. We need to let you move these characters in your world, and it needs to be easy. How we do this with Wrench is currently you'll have an iPhone on iOS. You will download the Wrench application. This Wrench application, you simply point your phone at you, and it begins capturing motion capture. This does this through the camera and magic of AI. What's really fun here is the Machinima application allows you to capture this information coming from the Wrench application on the iOS device, and then you can record it, you can sequence it, etc. For the first release, we're currently letting you work with the rigs that we're shipping. Subsequent releases, we're going to add in retargeting abilities to let you play more freely with rigs. But in this kind of first preview release, you'll be able to work with the content we've provided. So I want to show a quick example of this from a video perspective. This is me doing this real time just before this presentation. So you simply select the asset you're going to drive. I have my phone sitting on a bench over there, and this is me. So you're instantly able to kind of jump in, move your body around, and things like that. It's super easy. I don't have to, get in a suit or have a big Vicom stage or anything neat like that. The quality is also very good for a single camera perspective only. It's really quite amazing. Here I'm going to show you a little bit further here the ability to record a clip. So again, I'm sitting here being a goofy guy behind a camera. In the bottom right hand corner, we have the animation recorder. So this lets me, again, record to a target, and it generates a skeletal animation clip on the Nucleus server, which I'll go to shortly. So I drag in my asset into the sequencer, as I showed in the previous video. I'm going to go to the content browser and find the recording I just made. Drag that into the stage, and then I'm going to drag it onto my actor, and you'll see that the recording I just made is now able to be sequenced and replayed on the character. So that's really neat that I can take a phone and I can generate motion capture. Once I've kind of gone through, made all that actions for my characters, etc., I need a way to, and I've sequenced them. I also need a way to look at the action in the stage. So we've generated a very straightforward camera animation tool. Of course, you're free to use any tool to generate camera motion. You could go into Blender and generate a camera motion and import it into Omniverse and use that. But if you want something quick and easy, and that's what we're looking to do with Machinima, is make quick and easy tools, we've included this this camera animation tool. I'll show a quick video of it in action. It simply lets you add keys. As you can see here, you move to whatever your next position is, add a key again. These keys record all the camera properties, f-stop, focus, distance, etc. We let you change the interpolation method from both a timing perspective and from a movement in the world perspective. So we can do a straight linear movements between keys. We can do a Bezier curve that's predefined. We can ease in, ease out. And then also with timing as well, we can do the same thing. So if we want to do a slow push that speeds up in the end, we can do that. So we've kind of given, like I said, all these kind of, hopefully simple methods of generating good camera motion. So I've got, my character animation clips made. I've got my camera animation clips made, and I've put them all into the sequencer. What's really important about how we're building the sequencer for Machinima is we're doing it in a native USD way. We want everything here to be able to be transposed between different tools in the Omniverse and the USD ecosystem. So by defining all of this in USD, we have the future potentials to do things like import a sequence that you've generated in Machinima into UE4, for instance, or move them into Maya. You can see on the right hand, here is a very simple example of the USD schema for sequencing that we're developing. Hopefully in the future, like I said, we will define this, we will solidify this, and we will start beginning to push the sequencer USD schema as much as we can. The only special thing we're doing right now, outside of simply defining the tracks and the relationships, is we do also have the ability to direct camera shots through a shot track. So if very specifically you put a camera into the shot track, that is the camera that the Machinima application will look through. So you do have the ability to swap cameras as you're animating. But that is the sequencer, and those three things I just showed are really the main bits and the main core of what is Machinima. We have the sequencer, we have the camera animation tool, and we have wrench in the pose estimation. So you're able to, like I said, you're able to take your characters, move them around, look at them, and put all those animations together. Once you have that is the core. Everything else that we're going to be adding on top of that is just gravy to make your life even easier. So one thing we're adding, for instance, is we have generated, I think, over 100 reshade presets for you to enhance the look and feel of your video or demonstration. So this way, maybe you don't have to go out to another tool to do something like a VHS example that you see in the middle right-hand corner. These are really fun. You just turn them on. It's like Instagram filters, right? And everybody loves Instagram filters. We also have NVIDIA Flow in this demonstration here. This shows a real simple, fun little quirky video I put together. We have this real-time fluid simulation that you can key for when it fires off or when it doesn't. You can also see in this video I have the reshade VHS mediocre tape going as well. What's really cool about this, and you should be able to see it, let me see if I can replay this real quick. You should be able to see it on the body of the Soul character here as Flow not only looks cool from a simulation perspective, it lights the scene with the RTX real-time and path traced. So it's really physically in the environment with you. It's not just some effect that we're placing on top. Really fun to do stuff with Flow at night. So I definitely recommend trying it out, having a dark scene, and boom, having a big, nice red fire come up. And as we said, we are seeding everybody with content, and we've partnered with a few game developers, and we've also produced our own content to really get you going. And I'm going to walk through that now, all the different bits of content and the different partners we've worked with. So first I want to start with Squad. And you actually see two examples on the right-hand side, both the two planes and all of those characters. With Squad, we are shipping characters, vehicles, worlds, animations, weapons, and more. Squad is a squad-based warfare first-person shooter produced by Off-World Industries. We can't thank them enough for including some of their content here. I really do recommend trying out Squad. It's a spiritual successor to a Battlefield 2 mod called Project Reality. It's really neat. It's heavily based on communications tactics. You've jumped in. You're very vocal with everybody around you in the game, and most importantly, it comes with full mod tools that are available on the Epic Games Store. This is something we're really trying to encourage with those in the machinima community is, working with mod tools and mod developers and really opening up and doing some really neat things. The next game content that is shipping with Machinima is Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. Some of those assets you saw in the very first video, that was made entirely from Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. So we'll be giving you those characters, that first world, and an additional world that is set, I believe, in a kind of a Nordic theme, more of an icy area. And of course, all the fun weapons, trebuchets, all that good stuff. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is currently in early access. It has a huge modding community and some of the best modding tools in the business right now. This is produced by Tail Worlds Entertainment. I think it has over around 1,000 mods available on ModDB. It's a really fun game. Again, both of these games, I wouldn't be putting them into Machinima if I didn't think they were awesome, and I've played both personally. So definitely, again, check them out. Can't recommend them enough. Next, I want to talk about a third game that we're not shipping content with, but we have a great way to get content from the game into Machinima, and that is a tool called Mineways. Mineways actually ships with Omniverse, so if you get the Omniverse launcher, simply search for Omniverse Mineways. It takes your own Minecraft levels from the Java edition of Minecraft, and you can bring them into Machinima, Omniverse, Create natively. On top of that, if you see in this left-hand corner, this character that you see posing right there, again, that is me in Wrench posing that character. So you can live pose, I think his name's Steve. Is that right? Minecraft Steve. And make some really cool Minecraft Machinima. Here's an example of Venice exported from Mineways straight into Omniverse. I didn't do anything. I went to Mineways, I set some settings, I exported, and I opened it up. So this is kind of the level of fidelity that you're going to get when you come into Omniverse with Minecraft through Mineways. So hopefully that gets some creative juices flowing. I'm very excited to see what we can do with this particular content method. Finally, we're providing some content from NVIDIA. We'll be providing the NVIDIA Soul cinematic characters, animations, and some of the worlds. We're making a few presets and showcases, videos that we've produced through Sequencer and things like that you can play with. And then finally, there's the Omniverse content library, which already ships with Omniverse. This was originally developed for the architecture crowd, so it's things like trees, materials, and things like that. So, ability to set dress your scene with realistic trees and realistic materials through both our V Materials MDL library, which is a super high quality material library, and also our AEC material library. So hopefully there's a plethora of content to get yourself started. And I would say that we have a plethora. But if you don't think we have a plethora, then we have various ways to import both native and non-native assets into Omniverse. Right now we have a bunch of common formats and more coming. We have FBX, GLTF, OBJ, Luxo, and USD. We have a few more coming soon with IGIS and STEP. We can also import FBX animation. But what's kind of more interesting is there are stores out there that allow you to download native USD files, such as TurboSquid, which actually has an Omniverse filter that you can see on the right-hand corner. These assets are in USD. They already have materials applied that work right away in Omniverse, and you can download those and feel confident that they're going to be ready to go in your scene. And Sketchfab as well, for instance, is already producing USD-Z, I believe, on their website. Or if you already have content of your own, you can use an Omniverse connector. So this is what I talked about very briefly earlier with the Omniverse ecosystem is we have all of these tools that can directly connect into Omniverse. And when we produce a connector, we assume that the USD will have a quality material representation as well. So you can export with confidence. And I want to show real quick an example of how fast this can be. So this is UE4 on the left. This is Machinima on the right. This is the A10 from Squad. I can simply hit an export to Omniverse. I can browse to a folder on my Nucleus collaboration. Hit save. It's going to sit here and export. We're going to give it a second. Oh, it's done. I go over to Nucleus. You can see it's produced the USD and MDLs. I can drag it into my stage. It's going to compile that glass material here, but I'm going to go ahead and pull up the A10 in UE4 as well. Oh, there's the class compiled. And with that one click, you have your asset that was in UE4 over here in Omniverse Machinima. This works both ways, by the way. So if I was to produce this A10 in a different tool and load it into Nucleus, I could load this then into UE4 as well. So we're giving you this nice bi-directional method. And kind of some proof here is you can also see it here in Blender, which is one of the latest connectors we're working on. So we're doing everything we can to give you the tools that you need to get your content into Machinima, sequence it, and produce a cool cinematic. Now, I've touched briefly on rendering, and I really am excited for all of you that are going to use Omniverse and Omniverse Machinima to experience the RTX rendering firsthand. It's incredibly fast. It has native multi-GPU support. It's fully ray traced and path traced. Nothing is rasterized. So you can be confident that your lighting is going to be physically accurate. And hopefully that means you have less work to do to make your scene look beautiful. We have multiple options to render your sequences directly to video. You can do a real-time rendering. You can render it offline with the path tracer and set as many samples or motion blur samples as you want. It's really exciting where the RTX renderer is. It has decades of work behind it with all of the most talented engineers that NVIDIA can possibly muster. It is fast. I know I work at NVIDIA, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, but I've been working in games for 2 decades now, and I've never ran into something that is so beautiful but so fast. So with that said, kind of what is next? What's next from Machinima? Well, for this release, we will not have an easy way to produce an audio-to-face animation on your character. We will be producing a tutorial on how to do it a little bit more manually, so you still can use audio-to-face on your characters. But Release 2 will have a more direct pipeline. And as I said before, audio-to-face is a way to sync audio and generate facial expressions. And I had to put this picture in because it just cracked me up every time I looked at it. But here is a video of
that humiliation.
audio to face working natively, retargeting from one character to another. And that's all you have to do. You just put a WAV file in and you get your results. Audio to face will have the ability to set additional parameters such as, if I'm grimacing, etc. And they're constantly evolving the audio to face application to be more and more effective. But what else is coming? What are our future thoughts? Well, the Omniverse Machinima experience will evolve, and more importantly, it'll evolve based on your feedback. I of course have a vision and a plan for where I want Machinima to go to, be more effective and be more exciting for kind of our end users and make their lives easier. But I'm really waiting to hear from everybody out there. What makes this hard? What makes it easy? Tell us where your pain points are in current video production, and it's my job to try to figure out how to make that easier. But some of the stuff that we are already planning on doing are we want to add character controllers. We already have this in PhysX, which is one of the great things about having such a robust simulation engine just built right into Omniverse. This will bring us back to a little bit more of that traditional machinima work, because I'll be able to have my controller, I'll be able to move my character around and record that in real time, right? So that's that live acting can be hilarious, and it's a lot of fun. So we really want to get character controllers into the experience. We're gonna add real-time retargeting as soon as we can. This will allow you to use Wrench and other pose estimation software to directly move whatever character you have. And also allow you to take animations that are built on one rig and apply them to the other and do it in real time. We're looking for minimal effort from the user side, and we've got some really neat stuff coming up with a system we're developing called Pinocchio, which allows you to do some of this. Facial capture. So the AR SDK that NVIDIA produces, we have the ability to do real-time facial capture. So again, this is an idea where you have a webcam or something like that, and you look at your face, and it attempts to just grab my expression directly. So we want to add the ability to use AR SDK for facial capture. Of course, Wrench is always working hard on post estimation improvements. They've got a bunch of fun stuff in the pipe that we're really excited to let you guys try, and I'm sure Wrench is very excited to let you guys try as well. We are also going to look into adding more live modes for streams. So this is an ability to use things like audio to face or the facial capture plus the pose estimation to do things like live avatars for Twitch streams, etc. You can do a little bit of that now, actually, even with Machinima, but we're going to add in some additional tooling to make it easy, make it performant, things like that. XR and VR inputs for camera controls and more puppetry. Sometime in the near future, you'll actually see a Omniverse XR application show up. That'll allow you to use, something like a Samsung tablet or Apple iPad to use as your virtual camera, and we'll be able to record that. So we're going to just make sure that pipeline is good to go as we add in the XR and VR functionality. And then finally, of course, we're going to try to get more content from game developers and generate as many tutorials as we can to make this as easy as we can for you, the user, to generate just beautiful cinematics. We're here to try to unleash your creativity. I understand how hard it can be sometimes to be creative when you're bogged down by your tools. And that's the last thing that we want. We want the future to be where interconnect of content through Omniverse, where I am able to push content from one DCC tool to another and not have to do anything. The ability to sequence things quickly and natively. The ability to generate, what I have an actor. I know this that can act, and I want to be able to capture what he is doing and put it into my cinematic and put it in there easily. These are the things we're looking for with Machinima and Omniverse as a whole. What Machinima is not is we're not out here, making the end-all virtual production tool. Machinima is, as we said, a democratization of content. We want to make things that are quick and easy, and we will push and strive to do that as fast as we can. So with that, my final sign-off is get out there and get creating. You'll see Machinima launch post-GTC. So keep your eye out for the blog post when we plan on releasing Machinima. We're really excited for everybody to get it out there and try it. I would also like to suggest to go out to any of the other GTC talks that are out there. We have talks on Create, Kit, which are going to be really interesting to kind of show you, what Omniverse is all about. And, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for watching, and good luck.